I'm here with Ed O'Keefe, who once upon a time was a congressional reporter for the Washington Post and now is out full-time covering Jeb Bush. And it's been a big change from being under that dome on Capitol Hill to being on campaign trail, especially with a guy who was the front runner and is now in an interesting position.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot more mobile than being on Capitol Hill. But you're right. You know, I was just thinking before we began that up until about a month ago, Bush was kind of the Republican carnival draw because people were like, well, another Bush, we should go see what this is about. And there would be a lot of curiosity, I think, whenever he would make these visits to Iowa, New Hampshire, wherever else, to sort of figure out, is he like his brother? Is he more like his dad? Now that isn't necessarily there. I think he's sort of well established himself among Republicans paying attention as a potential nominee, as certainly someone who's in the mix. But he has struggled, I think, in the last few weeks to really comprehend the fact that this is for real and that he's no longer in the lead.
The interesting thing about campaigns so often, I think I did something with Bush, it must have been 2 years ago, where I came away convinced that he was never running for president.
Yeah.
And then he did a series of things which indicated where he prepared himself, his mind, lost weight, got fit, was ready for it, got into it, and had his message ready, and then gets blown out. That must be so frustrating, and I wonder if he shows any of that frustration close up.
Well, he's frustrated, he's a little tired, some say cranky, almost every day. A lot of it, I think, is he doesn't eat as much as he used to, frankly. He's on this paleo diet.
He did eat that pork chop at the fair.
Which is paleo. He didn't eat the fried Snickers, as much of the fried Snickers he could have, or the fried butter or whatever else.
One more bite.
They kept the corn dogs away from him. I think a lot of it is sort of this sense of like, I know I can be president. I know I can be a really good Republican general election candidate. I'm exactly what the party needs based on my demographics, my home state, my experience, my temperament, my understanding of what it takes to run for president. But by golly, I've got to spend this whole year dealing with these other guys and getting through this in order to get to that point.
Did he not take Donald Trump seriously
Nobody
until it
did.
was too late? Well,
Yeah,
that's true.
Nobody did. Whether it's too late or not, I think remains to be seen, but it has started. And if there is polling or if there is donor and supporter response in the next few days that suggests this helps him, I think it could elevate him farther above all those other candidates and make this more of a maybe just 3 or 4 person race.
You've been out there for a while now. The Washington Post ran a wonderful feature the other day of lots of pictures of you grinning as you stood over the candidate's shoulder. Are you having a lot of fun?
It is fun. I mean, you've done this, you know.
I have, but you know, sometimes it gets tiring.
It is tiring, and I think the beauty of the Bush schedule is that Mrs. Bush insists that he be home on the weekends, so Mrs. O'Keefe gets to see me on the weekends. It is a lot of fun. I'd always wanted to do this. I'd rather do it when I'm a little younger. I could have done it even sooner, but didn't get to. And it's interesting doing it with this guy. I'll be candid that, you know, this is someone who goes out every day and actually says things. You don't have to agree with them, but they are substantive, they are nuanced, and they cause especially a newspaper reporter to sit there and realize that, you know, maybe the message has shifted a little bit, or maybe he's trying to do things a certain way, and he keeps it interesting. He makes news. His team is very good about keeping him in the news. It may not be at the Trump level, but it's enough that you have to acknowledge it. And for that, at least, it's journalistically fulfilling and worth doing. The photos, you know, photographers are just catching me at a good
They don't lie. They don't lie.
I guess not.
I just will tell you one thing. Michelle Obama got President Obama, at the time candidate Obama, to promise to come home every weekend. It did not last.
Yeah.
So don't get too used to it.
It's been good this summer, at least.
Well, thanks for coming back and sharing your stories with us. We'll see you when you come back.
Anytime.